Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, a north-south split, maybe a little on today's show. Plus, we're talking roads. Andy's got the rundown.
Last week, Sam, we had to postpone an interview with Senator Mike Schnieder because of breaking news. We have that interview today, so if you're a member of a homeowners association, you won't want to miss this. And Derek Morse from the RTC is here to talk about that important legislation you voted for last fall. You do remember voting for a gas tax hike, don't you, Sam?
Yes, Andy, I feel the pain. On the pundit panel today, Michael Hackett, along with Ray Bacon and Howard Rosenberg. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week. And still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
Folks, you must see what's new in Virginia City. Ride the V&T train all the way to Gold Hill. Explore a mine, if you dare. Visit Piper's Opera House. Watch the gunslingers shoot it up on C Street. Shop in unique stores. Listen to honky tonk in the historic saloons. You can't see it all in one day, so spend the night. Virginia City, where the West comes alive. Come up and spend the night in our hotels, motels, and RV park.
When he was just a young boy, Ken Dillon laid back, looked up at the stars, and thought to himself, hey, this house could use a roof. Today, Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal offers a complete line of Firestone roofing products for any type of roof, from commercial to industrial and residential. With a Firestone roof from D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal, what's overhead stays overhead. Call Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal today for a free estimate. Yes, the technology sure has changed, but after all these years, Ken still enjoys playing with houses.
Feel it, the magic is everywhere. The action, the style, the food, the flair. Play with us, stay with us in Reno, say El Dorado, and live the excitement. El Dorado, Reno's shining star. Live the excitement.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
Senator Mike Schnieder is a Democrat. He sits on the Commerce Committee, and he is not happy about homeowners associations.
Good morning, Senator. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning.
You've brought legislation to help people who are having problems with their homeowners association. This, what, sets up a board to mediate? Is that how it works?
Well, yeah, it sets up a commission, and very basically, if you have a problem with your homeowner association and feel you're being picked on and can't get resolution to it, you can come to the commission, and the commission will make the decision as how your homeowner association is supposed to run and how they're supposed to treat you. Actually, you know, the homeowner association commission that we'll set up will have the power to remove board members, the power to go in and get the books of an association and look at the books.
We had a viewer send me an email that said that homeowners should read their CC&Rs when they buy a property or before they buy a property and see what the rules are.
Well, yeah, they should. And actually, a couple sessions ago, we put in the law a thing where they have to sign before they buy a house in a homeowner association, before they close escrow, that I've read my CC&Rs, I understand them, and I may be giving up some of my rights by moving into a homeowner association. But that doesn't mean there should be selective enforcement of the CC&Rs, or that you give up your right to due process. And that's what we're getting at here, because as you know, homeowners associations are governments.
And some of them can be abusive, is that it?
Absolutely.
Okay, is there a certain percentage of homeowners that can band together to turn things around in their homeowners associations is the way things stand now?
Yes, you can go out right now and get 10% of the homeowners to sign a petition, and with that petition you can attempt to remove board members. You can call for special elections, you know, or call for an election to change how your budget's put together. So it only requires 10%.
Aren't homeowners associations supposed to be following Nevada's open meeting law?
Well, they should, except for one homeowner association out in Elko. And, you know, Elko, of course, as you know, is a special area of the world. So we let them out a couple sessions ago, but Assemblyman Carpenter and he's bringing them back in.
But all the rest, by law, are supposed to follow Nevada's open meeting law.
Absolutely.
Isn't that correct?
Absolutely.
All right, now how much is this commission going to cost the taxpayers?
Well, it doesn't cost taxpayers anything. What we have is we have a per door fee, a state fee paid to the Ombudsman's office on homeowner associations. So every unit in a homeowner association pays $3 a year, and we will take that fee and apply it towards the commission. So people like you and I, Andy, that don't live in homeowner associations, we don't pay. Sam would pay because he lives in homeowner associations.
Okay, I want to change subjects on you a little bit. We've had a lot of people on here from Southern Nevada, and they have all stressed that they're looking for fairness between the North and the South, and not looking to take anything away from the North. You were quoted, and maybe even misquoted, as suggesting that we don't continue the 395 extension in the Carson City bypass to save money for projects down in Southern Nevada. Talk to me about this, sir.
Okay. You know, they showed
We need it, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I just drove up here on the 395 this morning, and it wasn't so bad. And it was coming at your rush hour. They showed the film of our expressways in Las Vegas, I-15 and the 215 arterial around the city. And, you know, it's gridlock. And we have as much gridlock as Los Angeles. And unless we get relief in the next 5 years, we will be worse than Los Angeles. And so the question I ask in Transportation Committee is, should we take some of the funds and delay the projects up here and apply the funds down south where, you know, just looking at the film, you can tell it's a lot worse.
Well, I don't know, driving through Carson City, and
Yeah,
I'll speak on Andy's behalf here because she lives in Carson City, getting from Reno to the Carson Valley in the rush hour is not a pretty experience.
Well, I think everything's relative. It's not a pretty experience for you up here, but as my wife said when she came up last week, and I went at rush hour time to pick her up at the Reno airport from Carson City, I was able to make it in 35 minutes, and that was rush hour. And she said, you know, it would take me longer to get home from work in Las Vegas.
Except that the rush hour is going the opposite direction of that hour.
Senator
Senator
Schneider,
Schneider, thank you for...
I'm not going to ask you how fast you drove.
We're not going to ask that. Senator, thank you so much for being here and answering the questions. We appreciate it. And we'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. 7 award-winning dining choices. Experience the Atlantis Seafood Steakhouse tonight. Winner of Wine Spectator's Award of Excellence. The local choice for food and fun, Atlantis.
Atlantis.
At Sushi Club, everybody's family. That's what makes dining here so much fun. The sushi is consistently better, the atmosphere is great, and the service is wonderful.
Welcome to the Bigger and Better Sushi Club. Come in for our delicious daily specials.
When you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Walk into the Cactus Creek Bar and Grill at the Bonanza Casino, and you know you're in for a very special evening. Enjoy the southwestern atmosphere of some of the best gourmet food in Reno. It starts right here with Chef Bruce Norman and his talented staff. From buffalo T-bone to martini scampi and peppercorn duck. There's fine wine, specialty margaritas, and our pastry chefs create award-winning desserts. The Cactus Creek in the Bonanza Casino, 1 mile north of the university, where locals come to play.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Derek Morse is the Deputy Executive Director of the RTC, and he's going to explain why Mike Schnieder missed the rush hour.
Derek, thank you for being with us today.
Good morning. It's great to be here. Well, I had the chance to hear the interview with Senator Schnieder, and I think, first of all, I'd make a couple of quick comments. One is we have to be very careful about anecdotal comments about driving on some particular road. I was in Las Vegas last Friday. I didn't have any trouble getting around either, but that doesn't mean there's not congestion there. But I think fundamentally the issues that we need to focus on are this. Northern Nevadans pay taxes to both the state and the federal government in terms of fuel taxes. They have a legitimate expectation that a reasonable portion of that money will come back and be spent in Northern Nevada to help us with our problems. And we do have some very real problems. I think we use that same argument nationally when we talk about federal fuel taxes and how much should come back to Nevada. I think that same argument holds true within the state to some degree too.
Okay, so what are our big problems?
Well, we have growing congestion. Our congestion is going to increase tenfold if we don't act upon it over the next 25, 30 years. Our delays that people will experience here will go from averages now of 2.5 minutes, and it could be much longer depending on where and when you drive. That's just an average. They'll increase tenfold to 25 minutes. That means some people sometimes will be sitting in traffic, stuck in traffic for hours literally if we don't do something about it.
Okay, so you brought a ballot question that was on the election on the ballot last fall, and it passed overwhelmingly. And now the legislature is enacting the legislation for it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's been through the Senate?
It's been through Senate taxation and passed out unanimously, and that will then go to the full Senate.
But there was some opposition.
Yes, there was some opposition, primarily from the oil companies, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I think that we need to put this into some perspective. We haven't had a local fuel tax increase in 9 years. That was the last time we raised taxes, and that was the RTC got our extra nickel. The local governments haven't had a fuel tax increase in 14 years. Now, each year, inflation is eating the buying power away from those fuel taxes, and we're in a deep hole because of that. And so part of the measure we put on the ballot was the idea of adjusting the local fuel taxes just enough each year to recover that lost purchasing power through inflation.
Derek, aren't you outraged that the gas companies would be objecting to this?
Well,
I mean, absolutely outraged when you're looking at regular gas at $1.99.9%. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And your tax hike is only a part of a percentage, right, of a cent,
well,
right?
Right now with current rates of inflation, which are a little bit more than 2%, our indexing would add about 0.3 of 1 cent to a gallon of gasoline. Now, in the last 2 months, as we all know, gasoline has gone up 50 cents a gallon roughly.
At least.
At least. It would take us 60 years to have what they've done in 3 months with our indexing provision.
And they're not gouging.
Well,
there's some profit-taking going on, but there's no gouging. The federal government has said this.
I think the other important fact
They've
here,
investigated, you know that. And they say there is no gouging.
Not a penny of their increase is going to fixing our roads. You know, and the voters said, we want to do this. We want to make this investment in our community, in preserving our quality of life, in keeping us economically viable. And then to have folks come and say, we'll raise it 50 cents, but we don't want you to raise it 0.3 of a penny, or even at the maximum rate, it might go up 0.6 of a penny in the early years. This type of thing does seem to me to be a little odd. And we need roads to drive on. You know, they'll still sell gas, but if people are going to drive and go about their business and their lives and take kids to school and go to work and all these other things, they need to have good roads. And that's important.
So the bill now has to pass out of the Senate and goes over to the Assembly Taxation Committee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So if people are interested in having this bill passed through the legislature, they need to contact their assemblyman, is that right?
Well, they need to contact not only their assemblymen, but their senators too. And I think what they need to tell them is, look, the voters in Washoe County, we knew what we were doing. don't tell us we didn't know what we were doing. We voted for this package. It's going to accomplish what we need for the community. We want you to support that. And keep in mind that all the legislature is doing is enacting enabling legislation. This whole package now has to come back to the Washoe County Commission, and they have to vote to actually make it effective. And so we'll have a chance to discuss all these other nuances again here within the community, which is, it's the community that's going to pay. I think it's rightful that it's the community that should have that discussion.
Let's throw two quick things at you before we leave you, and easy ones to talk about. The Tahoe Pyramid Link, if we don't get that, we are ensuring total gridlock on 395 and 80. And what about thinking of the next McCarran Ring Road? When they said they wanted to build that 20-odd years ago, people said, oh, we don't need it. Where would we be without it?
Well, let me address your second issue first.
Got 30 seconds.
The ring road. We do have plans in our long-term plans, which this funding measure will help fund for a new ring road. We're calling it the Outer Ring Road right now. We've got the first quarter of it roughly in the plans. It's up in the northeast portion of the community. So that's a very important item. And yes, we're going to have to deal with the need to move people throughout the community, particularly on the east side of the valley. That is an area our board wants to revisit that issue. And again, decide as a community, as a whole community, what we need to do there, what's going to work for us.
Rather than just being one portion of the community that's against it.
Well, everyone's impacted.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Derek Morse, thank you very much for being here. Back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
Take a break and treat the family to breakfast, lunch, or dinner at Tamarack Junction. Enjoy pasta night on Wednesdays, Mexican on Thursdays, and seafood on Fridays. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amani Ranch Parkway.
When he was just a young boy, Ken Dillon laid back, looked up at the stars, and thought to himself, hey, this house could use a roof. Today, Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal offers a complete line of elk roofing products for any type of residential roof. With an elk roof from D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal, what's overhead stays overhead. Call Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal today for a free estimate. Yes, the technology sure has changed, but after all these years, Ken still enjoys playing with houses.
We've loosened our machines. We've given you the Gold Dust West Gold Rush Club, Reno's best slot club. You can win lots of jackpots. Play longer. Your points will add up faster than you think. Yeah, we're loose and we're not screwing around. See you at the Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
Folks, you must see what's new in Virginia City. Ride the V&T train all the way to Gold Hill. Explore a mine, if you dare. Visit Piper's Opera House. Watch the gunslingers shoot it up on C Street. Shop in unique stores. Listen to honky tonk in the historic saloons. You can't see it all in one day, so spend the night. Virginia City, where the West comes alive. Come up and spend the night in our hotels, motels, and RV park.
At Tamarack Junction, you can take advantage of fabulous food around the clock. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, give the oven and yourself a rest. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amani Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, stand by for a very lively panel discussion today. Our pundits, Ray Bacon with the Nevada Manufacturers Association, Howard Rosenberg, UNR Regent, and movie critic, we'll talk about that later, and Michael Hackett, who is with Alrus Consulting and is a lobbyist. And before we get started, I would just like to let you folks know at home that we did invite John Sandy and the other petroleum lobbyists to come on the program and defend their position. They turned us down, but we want to issue a public invitation. John or any of you would like to come on, we will make time on any day that you can come in.
Boy, do we have questions for you.
Yes, we do. Okay, Howard Rosenberg, let's start out, serious topic.
Okay.
The President made his speech last night. It seems pretty likely that within the next 24 hours that we will be going to war. What's the feeling on campus at the University of Nevada, Reno?
We're on semester break now, Sam, but the feeling is caution. It's not optimistic. The kids are really confused. One youngster said to me, doesn't Congress have to declare war? How can he just declare war? He's not the emperor. And I said, well, this is a police action, I guess, maybe more than it is a war at this point. Most of the youngsters that I've talked with don't like this one single bit. They think that it's going too far to take care of a situation that could be taken care of in other ways.
Ray, from your clients with the Nevada Manufacturers Association, what's the talk?
Generally speaking, I think the most of the business community is in the mindset of the economy is not going to turn around until we get rid of the uncertainty, get it on, get it over, get it done. Those of us that have been to wars, they're never fun, but the reality of the situation is, let's get it over with.
And the reality is that the stock market responded exactly that way yesterday, with stocks
Mm-hmm.
taking a bounce just because of getting away from this lack of knowledge to suddenly, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
What's the thoughts from your clients, Michael?
Actually, our clients aren't really tied into this too much. Obviously, we're very respectful of the situation our country finds. Right, but in terms of from a political point of view, but obviously we're very respectful of the situation this country is dealing with. We want to be very delicate in terms of how we promote our cause in light of the bigger picture here. What Howard was saying, I think I'm one of these adults who shares those kids' point of view where I think this is a very uncertain time. I think it's a very scary time, and I think it seems to fly in the face of principles and ways of dealing with issues that this country has used in the past.
Well, let me take a little different angle on this. Ray, you've been around the legislature a while. Michael, you have too, and Howard through osmosis. When the public is busy watching a war, what happens at the legislature? Ray, do you
Well, clearly, if you take a look at historically, and I haven't been around long enough to been through too many of these operations, but there will be some pandering that goes on behind the scenes. There will be things that will slip in. There will be good legislation that will die. The whole tax thing all of a sudden becomes totally in flux. You could wind up literally with the governor's short-term funding thing getting the end date taken off and the thing, and that being the only thing that passes and everything else dies. So God only knows what will happen.
All right, Howard, let's change topics here. From the Las Vegas Sun yesterday, Community College of Southern Nevada is getting a legislative push to offer the same four-year degrees that the struggling Nevada State College at Henderson already offers, and that came from Assemblyman Wendell Williams. This college is under attack again.
It has been under attack right from the beginning. And it's sad because in 10 years we'll be thanked for putting it in place because we desperately, desperately need it. Community college's mission is different from the university's mission and from the state college's mission. But let's say that we turn CCSN tomorrow into a state college. Then we'd have two state colleges, and according to the Rand report, we'd only need 3 more down south and 1 more up here. It isn't the way to operate. I appreciate Mr. Williams' concerns, but if he would just let the Board of Regents do its job and trust in higher education, we would be fine. The problem that Nevada State College is having is that because of this uncertainty, so many of the youngsters are afraid to register. They don't know if they're going to have a college. That's a terrible way to operate.
But didn't the legislature create the Nevada State College?
Very definitely, but the legislature could, I guess, end it if they wanted to
Ray,
as well.
Do we need Nevada State College?
As to whether we need it or not, that remains to be seen. I think in general we're going to need a higher volume of things, but let me hit you with a totally different perspective. If you take a look at the mission of Nevada State College, it's totally focused on public sector employment. Whether nursing is public sector or not, it's at least quasi-public sector.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a look, if we're really serious about economic development, where's the expansion to the engineering colleges, the business colleges, and all those things that, sorry, we need those too.
But that's where Nevada State College comes in, because that gives those youngsters a place to go and frees up spaces that are presently occupied at the university. You can't have both without having some kind of a give between them.
Feel free to jump in here.
Actually, I agree with both what Shad is saying. I really do. I think Howard was very accurate in pointing out that a community college does have a very different mission from what a 4-year accredited program does. I also agree with what Ray said in terms of I think ultimately the state college will prove to be very useful. Whether that timing is right now, that I think is it really remains to be seen.
Could I just say that there is one, I've learned the 2 most miserable words in the English language are deferred maintenance.
Right.
You wait long enough, it's going to cost
Right.
triple to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And you're planning on doing things now with the rest of the sectors that need to be done for further on down the road.
Okay, but you've got a beef, Ray, between high school and college at this point already, don't you? And you got about 30 seconds to lay it out.
There's a bill that was introduced yesterday which basically says if Millennium Scholars get to the university system and they need remediation, that the bill for that remediation would go back to the university. It's got legs under it.
Would go back to the school. They
go back to the
graduated.
K-12 system, right. It's got legs under it. I'm not sure it's the right policy. It clearly needs to be thought out, but it's going to be an issue that's going to be fought.
Okay, 30 seconds, Howard. 30.
You cannot use punitive measures like that against teachers that are killing themselves to get our youngsters through K through 12. This is not a blame situation. This is a situation where you take a youngster from where he is and you get him to where he needs to be. That's the essence of what good education is all about. You don't punish.
But why should the taxpayer pay twice?
Because
that's
not paying twice.
Okay,
not
we're
paying
out of
twice.
here. That's the end of it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
If you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club. Year after year voted the best place for sushi. 11 chefs on staff to serve you. Better ingredients for consistent high quality. And lots of room, so bring your friends. Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Feel it, the magic is everywhere. The action, the style, the food, the flair. Play with us, stay with us in Reno, say El Dorado. And live the excitement. El Dorado, Reno's shining star. Live the excitement.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, consistently voted Reno's best buffet by locals. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Professor Rosenberg's lecture continues over there despite the fact that the red light is on.
That's because it's not aimed at him.
Who's coming up on the show tomorrow?
Secretary of State Dean Heller, Assemblywoman Sheila Leslie, and we've got Barbano back, and Jim Denton, and Pat Coward.
And if anything happens with the war, we'll bring it to you during the show. Thanks very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow on Nevada Newsmakers.
Bye.